didn't do it. Mm-mm. I got real excited for nothing. I'm disappointed.
What?
Find your gallery is up at the top.
I pressed, well, I just have more. I see more. And then it says show my video in gallery view, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I did that. And
I got really
basically it's like, yeah, no.
Probably can swipe to the left.
Okay, so we're live, everybody.
Oh, hi.
All right.
You know, I've been getting excited when stuff works for me.
Let's just jump right on into this and introduce ourselves. I will start since I'm already talking. I am Shay Breon Howard. I am the co-founder and co-host of the Sickle Cell Experience Live. I am the creative director for Access Advocacy and a sickle cell advocate, and out of California and Texas. Yeah, that is who I am. Oh, and I'm a single mother. So I should probably start.
Okay.
Awesome. Hi,
Oh,
everyone. I'm Felicia. I am a certified sex coach. I am an advocate for sickle cell also. And I am a single mother. And, you know, I'm just here to hold space for the conversation.
hi, I'm Marissa Kors. I am co-founder and co-host of the Sickle Cell Experience. And right now, I can't see out of my right eye. It's driving me crazy. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go fix that. I'm gonna carry on. I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna fix that.
Before you go, I just need to remind both you and Master that there is no cursing on this live tonight. Okay.
Why you gotta point me out though? Why I feel like I'm being picked on right now. Like why you act like you know me? Why you think I'm just gonna do stuff?
Because you will if I don't remind you. So that was just
I'm gonna go get my eye together. Bye. I'll be back.
I had to prepare my mind for this all day, so it's not like you're alone.
Yeah, okay. Bye.
All right, Mr. Master.
I'm all right with you, man. My name is Master Burt. I'm a father, artist from Chicago, Illinois, and I have the privilege to work with the Sickle Cell Experience. Not all of that extra stuff.
Can you speak up, please, just a little bit? I cannot hear you anymore. At first I could, now I can't.
I said that my name is Master Burt, and I am a father from Chicago, Illinois. A father and an artist from Chicago, Illinois. And I have the privilege to work with the Sickle Cell Experience as well.
Okay. All right.
So, what's the first topic?
We are missing one person. He will join us later. I'm excited about this Battle of the Sexes. And I think we should start with kind of dissecting at our list of standards, like I just feel like everybody should have standards, and I think that in every aspect of your life you should have standards. I know as a patient, I have standards because it's a certain way that I'm going to be cared and treated. I have standards as a friend, as a family member, and romantically. So let us kind of talk about our top number one standard when it comes to a relationship. Who would like to start?
I'll start.
Oh,
Let her start. No, you go.
My number one standard for anybody in my life, romantic and or otherwise, is you have to be able to roll with whatever sickle cell brings you. You can't. There are two things in this life that are not going to change about me. Okay. One, I'm a little black girl. And two, I got sickle cell. If you can't be on board with either of those, you got to get the hell on. It's real basic. Life's not that hard. It's not. That's it.
And Master?
My child, like if my kids see, because, and I say kids, even though biologically I have one, you know, when you date women, a lot of them feel like you shouldn't take care of the other one as well because they're not biologically yours.
Right.
And so, however, that's not, you know, my son is my son. Like, he's my daughter's little brother. I've been raising him since he was born, and it's not going to change. So a woman will go before either one of those two kids go. Yeah. So that's a high priority in my standards. Like, it's the way that they accept my kids.
It's understandable. Guess it's my turn, huh? So for me, we're just going to narrow it down to romantically, but honestly, it does apply in every other aspect of people who are closer to me than others. Now, I'm not saying I can't respect anyone who has a difference of religion or opinion, because I have all types of friends and relationships. That's why I'm saying I'm specifically talking about romantically, though. That person must respect God fully, and also they have to love God fully with their entire heart. Now I think we kind of like talk about what, like, dissect. Well, yours is pretty, straight to the point. I think everybody's, even though it's different, has substance, but I really think that we should kind of talk about it in a sense of.
Well, I'd like to interject. So I hear all of you guys' first number one top priority. And I would like to ask for Marissa, when you say that, a person have to be on board with accepting that you have sickle cell, are you aware that people have a choice to deal with people who have disability? Not all people can.
And that's why.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
Get on board or get the hell on. It's not hard.
I know it's not hard, but having the attitude, don't you think, is
No.
a kind of pushing it away? Because it's
No.
like you attract what you are.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, not anyway. Because see, here's the thing. I live in a world in which once I accept you, like you're mine. Like these people that we're talking to, we got Master, we got Shabrian, Dorian's gonna come on in a minute. These are my people. I have accepted them. They are mine. They are my friends. They are my family. I am that way across the board about people that I bring into my life.
Right.
And unfortunately, or fortunately, however one chooses to view it, part of that life is this great disruptor called sickle cell. And it's going to come and it's going to go and it's going to do whatever it is it's going to do. Right. And it's like, I cannot control it. You can't control it. All we can do is go with it. And the only promise that I make to people that come into my life, especially those who don't have any dealings with this type of issue, is that I will be the best resource, the best support system, the best guide that I can be to help you through this. But the fact of the matter is that it's here. So if we make plans and all of a sudden you get a phone call like, hey, I can't, and I can't because I can't walk, or I can't because I'm sick. You have to just accept that, because I have no choice but to accept it. It is what it is. And people who can't deal with it, bye. Now, I have levels of acquaintances, and I have some people that I would say at one point I thought were close friends who have been very, very easily and rightfully so recategorized as over there. Okay, and love from a distance, and they are welcome to call and text, and I will always pick up the phone. I will always do all that I can for them. But in terms of like having them in my inter world, no, because I don't need the stress and the extra the guilt and whatever about how I didn't make it here. Oh, you missed that. You
Don't you
never
think
want
that
to
comes
roll
at a
through.
point like when you're dating someone that
Mm-mm.
you get to find out who they are so you can make a better choice so you won't be stressed out. So
But
you
that's
need
why
to
if they
you need
can't,
to
the
vet.
first thing they hear is she has sickle cell. Let me tell you something. I met my current partner, my other half. I call him because he is. It's sometimes a little difficult, but he is on a Match. I met him on Match while I was doing a blog called Dating with Sickle Cell.
Mhm.
I was not looking for any one. It was just okay, a thing. And so I had all of these rules to my dating. I had to go on at least 3 dates. I had these 10 questions that I had to ask people, and that was it. And what I found was that I was very upfront. I have sickle cell. I'm a patient advocate. This is my family's nonprofit. This is what I do. At that point, I started traveling a lot. Sometimes I'm here, sometimes I'm not. These are all these things that I had written down. And I met about 30 people in the 3 months that I did this little thing. And 7 of them, kid you not, were like, wait, you have sickle cell or you just work with sickle cell? I have sickle cell. And they all were like, okay, thank you, bye.
Mhm.
Bye. You want to do me a favor? Deuces? What?
But it seemed like you have
And-
stress around it. It seemed like you have some anger.
No,
Oh,
I don't.
okay.
I don't have stress. My thing is this:
Oh,
sickle
man.
cell it's not something that I think you can readily separate. I mean, no, you don't talk about it all the time. No, it's not like the number one subject and topic of the day, but it is something of which I have no choice but to be aware of. And personally, I think that it's unfair and it's selfish to have somebody, especially somebody you're supposed to be in a romantic relationship with, to have them come and be invested in you and then spring this thing on them. Like, oh, and Pearson, by the way, it's going to be sort of a responsibility of yours too. Because let's be honest, when we go into crisis, especially if it's one of those from hell where all of a sudden you can't walk, y'all know what I'm talking about. You just 1 minute you're good, and the next minute you just cannot walk,
Yeah.
and it comes out of nowhere. It's really easy for people just to fall back into that mindset. You're being dramatic. Oh, girl, please, you were just fine 2 minutes ago. Come on, you could. No, like, no, I refuse to have to teach somebody empathy. I refuse. I refuse to have to teach someone how to be caring. If you don't automatically have that instilled in your heart, and I'm knocking on 50, bruh, we can't roll. Not 20 anymore. I'm not working with your potential anymore. No, who are you? What? What do you do? How do you do it? And if it's a little bit harsh, then that's just what it has to be. But no, like, this is not a game, and it's not, I try to minimize the chaos in my life, even though I know it doesn't look like that from the outside in. I truly do try to minimize the chaos in my life. I don't want the criticism and the, oh, do you really need that pill right now? Oh, you know what? If you would just be more natural, you could be cured. All that got to go. Nope. Bye. Nope. Not dealing with it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Master, you said that you know, wasn't very important to you on top of your list is accepting your children. In the same kind of
Yeah.
context, I'm going to ask you as well. Don't you think it's very important to like really vet for that type of person who will accept you in your situation?
I mean, yeah, like, see, my thing is that if I date someone, I accept their kid. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Um, I'm a person that feel like children are innocent, period. Like, so I don't have it in me, you know, to view them even when they be bad. You know, like I can't even date someone. I wouldn't be able to date some women just because they have really bad children, because only if, you know, you one of the, they would be one of those parents that's like, you know, can't nobody say nothing to my child type of parent. Well, I probably can't date that person because I'm gonna straighten it. Especially if it's a little boy, I'm gonna straighten them out. Now, I'm not gonna physically hit him or nothing, but I'm gonna straighten them out though.
Mhm.
Like, because, you know, I would try to raise him as though I would raise mine.
Mhm.
And so when I deal with if I deal with a woman with children, like that's just how I am. So that's what I expect as well.
Well,
Like,
see, there we go. You said that's what you expect, but then you have to make sure that the woman has to expect that too or agree upon that.
right.
Relationships are not one-sided.
Right. Yeah, and so I find, right, I
Mhm.
find that in women without children, like, is where you ask that, where you have to sometimes ask that question the most, because women with children, they want you to accept theirs. Majority of them, you know, they want you to accept theirs. So it's so that's the thing. It's just, I find that in women without children, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So in your experience, have you ever ran into the fact where you might have dated a woman with children, but then she had a different parenting style and disagreed with the way you parent? Did that ever come up or ever cause conflict?
I don't want to say it, I have talked to someone who, yeah, our parenting is different, but we just, you know, it was just a thing of, it's best to remain friends type of thing, because
There you go. Right,
um
because it's about being on the same page, right?
yeah, because like with we was the discussion of homosexuality in the school came up, and I disagree with it. I just don't feel like school should teach homosexuality more than Black history. So uh I disagree with it. However, you know, she okay with it. Like, so, you know, even with certain songs and certain things being played around, you know, like my children, who is a little younger than hers, you know, like, it wouldn't work. Like, it wouldn't have worked at all. So yeah, friends it is, you know.
Right.
Friends it is.
And doesn't that provide for you, you know, a level of comfort to whereas, you know, you'll be more comfortable in knowing that you have someone that have maybe the same values as you.
Yeah, you know, like, some that's to date, right? But for a friendship, you know, it is also good though to be able to call that person, because she has a daughter and a son. And like, at times my kids was just arguing like crazy. And so I would call and be like, man, you know, is this is this like how yours are too? You know what I'm saying? So, and it was good because she was able to give me advice. Like, she was telling me how, like, you have to um because my son, he's younger than my daughter, but he like scared of the dark and wanted to like sleep with her in the
Mhm.
bed with her at the bottom of the bed and all that type of stuff. And it was like, so me be like trying to cater to him being scared of the dark was like, yeah, okay, we'll let him sleep at the bottom of the bed. But then she put something different in my head, like, your daughter is getting older and she's going into her own, so she's going to want him to not be in the bedroom. So it was like, okay, well, I stopped it, based off of somebody else. Like,
So
so it was cool.
very good. And that's good to have those friendships like that. All right, Miss Shavrion. So yours is your number one value, you said, is to have someone who respects God. My question to you is, when you say that, does it matter if that person is of the same faith, religion? When you say that, do they just have to have this reverence for God, or whether it's Allah, Buddha, whoever, or you just want to stick to the same faith?
Personally, if it's someone that I'm in a romantic relationship with, I would like that person to be of Christian faith, but more spiritually, like, and really know what like their relationship with God is. Not, oh, I go to church every Sunday, so I'm good with God. Like, no, like have an actual relationship with God.
Okay.
So.
All right. And
I'm sorry, you froze. What did you say?
oh, I'm sorry. It'll match what? Am I still frozen?
No.
Okay. So therefore, it would be like a mirror image, like your faith and his faith will be strong together.
Right. Exactly.
Very good.
Yeah. Like I was telling you before, when I say like a person should respect and love God, it means that when you hold that higher than a person or yourself, most of the times it will give you like it gives you how you should truly treat a person, how you should act towards a person, and you wouldn't treat them bad or do them wrong. Not because of that person, it's not even because of you, it's because you don't want to displease God. So that's what I mean by respecting God enough to know there are certain things and certain ways you should be.
Not to be easily placed out of your character. Keep your dignity, keep your integrity, and because why? You answer to a higher authority.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, what do you have to say?
If you got something to say, then say it. That's what we here for. We battling.
I just think that I know like a few men, who actually my brother, like he don't believe in God at all. And like he real big on integrity. I even know some men who, they not spiritual people or godly people, and they don't, like, one guy don't do anything. I'm talking about he don't use profanity. Like, he eats a certain way, everything, and it has nothing to do with God.
So I think we're all talking.
Everything is about man.
Well, that's good. That's his beliefs, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm not saying that that's not a person I would be that I wouldn't befriend, but as far as someone who I would have a relationship with, that's important to me. So.
And then I just know some preachers that's horrible.
Like, I never said I would date a preacher. You guys are missing my point. That's what I'm talking about.
See, we getting out of context. We getting out of context. Keep it in the context.
What I'm saying is,
right.
What I'm saying is, like I said before, a person could go to church 5-7 times a week. That's not what I would hold. Oh my God, this person for me. a person that's for me would be someone who has their own separate relationship with God and who knows who they are in God, in the image of God. Not, oh, I go to church, and not a person that's not religious, but spiritual enough to understand the difference, because there is a difference, then yes. So I'm talking
Right.
about.
So
Ma-
so I
Master, one
understand.
second, Master, hold up.
Yes,
Marissa
ma'am.
has something to say.
I think that that subject of God and religion, well, okay, I will say for me,
Right, that's you.
is when I saw myself having kids, it was a lot more prominent, because I don't believe that you can raise children and y'all are on different levels spiritually and in terms of
And
religion. You know, I grew up on the west side of LA. I had a whole bunch of friends. There was a Christmas tree and Hanukkah, you know what I'm saying? And some of it turned out okay. A lot of it did not. And you know, ultimately it was just like kind of a ball of confusion for a lot of them. But I think when you start having children, you start reflecting on what your parents did that you liked, or how you were raised, or the things that you want your children to experience the way that you experienced them, like as a child. Like for me, petticoats and, you know, patent leather shoes was a thing. Easter dresses was a thing. Like that was a big deal. And I never had the kids be able to do so. I have a sister. I say she's mine, but I didn't have her. And she has a mother and a father, and, you know, whose beliefs are a little bit different than mine. So that was something that I had to step back from. But when you're talking about bringing families together and you have children involved, if you aren't on the same level in that situation, you are making life very difficult for everybody. So I completely understand what both of you are saying. You know, me personally, I'm like, are you from the church of be kind and good to one another, be respectful, and I respect you, then we're good. But I don't have little people anymore that I'm like trying to mold into, you know, good citizens and hopefully join me, you know, at the gate if I get through the gate, because it depends on who's in heaven. I might not go into heaven depending on who up there. I can't lie to you. Okay, I'm back.
I think
Well, you know, these are
my
all good
question.
points. Go ahead, Master. Yeah.
I was just gonna say my question was more so like, or my thought of it is like, you know, um, I feel like women, right? They turn away decent men, and vice versa. By the way, we turn away good people based off of like these one little things, and they be like they could possibly be the best person in the world, but we turn them away from, especially when you bring in religious denominational beliefs, all of that type of stuff. So my one question, like Shabra, okay, so it's like if this guy was very respectful and he believed in all of the things that you said, but he didn't have that one word up in there, like he's still a good guy, would you turn him away because he didn't have the word God in there, he like even though he lived exactly what everything else said, he just didn't believe in the other stuff. Like that's the part that's why I'm saying like I just be feeling like we turned away good like decent people based off of these one like that one little word. You know what I'm saying? Like
But we
But
hear
that's
you.
the
but a
thing.
person live it though, but a person really live it. And that's why I brought the preacher stuff up. I just brought the preacher stuff up because of that. But I mean there's some people that really live like they just love like and respect and think black women are everything. And they show it, you know what I'm saying? And they being like they show it,
Mhm.
but they don't believe in God.
Okay,
See,
so give
so
Shay Brown a chance. Go ahead.
I'm going to respond to you in the sense of I'm not saying that there's not amazing people out there who are capable of having great understandings with me and communicating. But if you cannot communicate with me on a level of God, you can't communicate with me. We're not fully aligned with each other, because that is my center. That is my anchor. That is where I am in my life. And that's where I'm always going to be in my life. That's where I'm rooted. That's where I was rooted. And things that my family done, I do a lot differently because I did my own research, and because I went and I took that extra initiative to learn more things than they did. So my child she knows, she's not raised the same that I was raised. She does not hold the same things important that I held important as a kid because of these things. So when a person is spiritually connected to God and that's their center and that's their root, it's a totally different level of, on a different plane than a person. Now, when I say I literally had something happen and it came out of nowhere, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, it came out of nowhere. But I know that that's God. So if a person is like, nah, that ain't God, I can't get with that, because I know who that was for me. I know who made that happen for me. So I can't be involved with the person that doesn't understand it on that level.
So the short answer for you would be, if he cannot connect to you in that space and hold that space with you, then no. He could be the greatest person, but if you feel like he's not making that connection to a higher power, then it's no for you.
It's a no for me, boss.
It's a no for her, master.
Yeah.
Hey, it is what it is.
Okay. I'm just trying to, because there's so many different perspectives on all of you guys' this topic. And I'm just trying to keep it narrow, because we can go way out here and we'll lose the context of what each of you said. Make sure that
And that's why you're here.
right.
Why you here?
Way out there alone.
Right. No, I don't want
So
you
would
to
have.
way out there. No, this is your topic. This is your standards, and it has to be clear. Go right ahead. What's next?
Okay, so since we talked about our number one standard, can we kind of just flip the coin a little bit and talk about our number one deal breaker?
Woo woo. Yes, why not? I'm loving that. I want to hear that.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, look at Marissa's face.
Deal breakers, okay?
Because you said that so many things came like flooding us.
I know,
let the floodgates open.
I mean, in my brain, I was like, dang, which one do you choose? But I have one. No, I have one that is
the one that's absolutely positively
number one. Absolutely. And but it does depend on circumstances. If somebody has children, I've only dated one man with kids. I got 3 rules for the kids. Number 1, you must have custody. I'm not dating a man that don't have custody of his kids.
Oh.
We're not doing that. Because I found that men who do not have custody of their children tend to allow the men to dictate the type of parent that they're gonna be, and I can't have that. If you get consistent entity with your children and in their life, and no, we can't roll. Number 1. Number 2, your children must be in 1st grade. Your kids have to be able to self-report. Your kids can't self-report, we can't roll. Okay. I'm gonna tell you why. Because people who have children 6 years and under, you still have to work very closely with that other parent. And I'm not saying that you don't have to work closely with them throughout the life of the child. I'm not saying that in any way. But it's different when you're raising a toddler. It's different when you still have a baby and that baby depends on you to eat and to do everything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
and I'm not trying to come in between whatever residual feelings and shenanigans and that y'all got going on with each other. Okay, your baby got the self-report at the end of the day. That's just real. And you know, number three, you have to have a very good relationship with the mother of your children. I do not deal with the men that, oh, she's a bitch, well, but you wifed her and you had children with her. We can't roll. I don't deal with the men that, oh, well, whatever she asked for, buddy, I sent it to her. Your children don't need light. They don't need food. They don't need the rent paid. I'm confused. I don't get these things. You know, you have to have an open relationship and be able to sit down and talk like adults with each other about your child.
So
You
to
know,
sum up your deal breaker, you would say
that's it.
what?
You have to be a real parent to your children, and you have to have a good relationship with their other parent.
Healthy
Like,
boundaries.
yeah, you don't have that. We can't. No, I'm not walking into the eye of the storm. We're not doing it.
All right.
So that's a definite one.
Who's next?
Would you like to go, Nancy? Or should I?
Why is Master laughing at me? He always laughs at me.
You can go. You can go. You can go, Sherry.
So number one for me was I cannot deal with another narcissistic man. So
Okay, now
That's
you're
number one.
diagnosing. Okay,
Look,
go ahead.
look.
What is that?
Let
Please
me-
break that down for your audience. please.
Okay,
What is
so
that?
I'm gonna break it down because I know people like, oh, so you just gonna really guess? Because look, let me tell you something. It's serious, okay? Because I got a little bit of PTSD dealing with the narcissistic man. So what I'm saying to everyone is if a person is selfish, if a person can only recognize his own feelings, his own thoughts, his own choices or lack thereof over and not take responsibility for that over how I feel, over my child, over anything, I cannot do it. I cannot. If you even remotely remind me of the crazy that I have to deal with for the rest of my life,
Not the trigger.
cool.
Sound like a trigger.
it's
No.
a trigger. It's a
Okay.
trigger. I'm cool. I'm all right. I'm done. Okay, that's all.
Okay.
That's number one. Can't be narcissistic.
That's number one. Me, mine is similar to Marissa's. If woman don't have her kids, period, you're not for me. Like, you can't. I can't be more important to you than your kids. Like, you can't tell me, yeah, my mother had custody of my kids. When you need to go
Right.
figure that out, then we can talk. Right? But you need to get that together first. Like, you shouldn't even, if your mother have custody or anybody have custody of your kids, you don't need to be here. Like, you need to be somewhere else in somebody's courtroom. Like, so that's a big thing to me. Like,
And that's a real thing. I don't know if I'm frozen. It says a weak connection. I'm sorry. That's a real thing. And I do know it's a very hurtful, painful thing when parents get their children taken away and all the things they have to do to get them back. But I hear you. Life get real, things happen, and people fall short sometimes, and then
Okay,
they
no.
pick themselves up and learn. So I get a very strong deal breaker with you to that. So maybe one day you might can listen to that mother's story to see what happened and then make a informed decision of why you wouldn't want to deal with her.
It depends.
I
Right. That's
think it would have to be a
what-
real special case.
Yeah.
It depends. No,
Yeah.
for me, it really depends on if, like, what do you have going on to counter it? Like, you can't tell me, oh, well, my mother had my kids. I got like 3 kids, whatever. And my mother have them. And so my next question is, so do you have a court date? Because that's going to be my next question. And if you don't have a court date, then again, what are you doing out partying? Like,
I mean, there can be circumstances. I mean, you have people that they move to different states and they choose to leave their children, with a relative while they go and they get settled and they get stuff together. But then it's like, do you have a time limit?
right. And
I'm out here for 2 months. My kids are going to join me when school starts. I just want everything in order. Okay, those are different
Yeah, I agree.
circumstances, but you just can't randomly just be like, yeah, I got 3 kids, they wherever they at. What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Like,
Mm.
yeah, I met a woman once. She said, she had, I think she had 5 or something. I wasn't gonna date her anyway because she had 5 kids. But yeah, she was like, my mother have them and all that, and I was just like, oh, really? Oh, okay. I listen. Sit on the phone and everything. We could talk. It's probably gonna be the last conversation, but we could talk today.
Mhm.
Good for talking today. It's pass a little time. Nothing wrong with that. Just not for me.
Awesome. Okay. So, all right. Number one deal breaker. So we had had to be on the same page in terms of. Okay.
What's that?
I don't understand.
You like that progressive commercial.
I know.
Mute, it's a thing.
Finna go to bed.
I wasn't thinking because my laptop is dying.
Oh, I see. Okay. So one deal breaker, which was, having that same spiritual connection. The other deal breaker was being responsible, having healthy boundaries. Yes. And then the gentleman said his deal breaker was, kind of the same way as Marissa, a mother not taking full responsibility and custody of their children. So those people just can't be a part of your lives. And you know what? I just want people to understand that it's okay. These are, and I know you say standards, but it's also, I like the word preference. Everybody is entitled to their preference. And you shouldn't feel guilty about your own preference, how you want to be treated in life and how you want to have your relationship. Your relationship should feel good to you, right? It should meet the expectations that you have for yourself and also in having a relationship with somebody else.
Absolutely.
What else do you have for us, Shavion?
All right, so honestly,
Why you sound like you so far away now?
oh, because is this better? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, honestly, I just kind of want to talk about what people's idea of a functional relationship consists of.
I don't know. I only know dysfunction.
And wow, thank you for being so honest, right?
All right.
What do you mean by that? Elaborate. What is the
So if I'm elaborating, I'm talking about what would be the perfect type of relationship for you? Like what does that look like? Like if you could be in the best relationship of your life, what would it look like? And why? No, nobody wanted to do that?
Hey, give them a minute. I think they're thinking. I think that someone will answer.
For me, it'd be like, you mean from that person's standpoint, like from the woman's standpoint, or just?
Or you, just
From
from
your
you,
perspective,
like what you desire.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it'd be it'd be you know, everything. It'd be like an hour. Like, I don't, you know, you have sometimes even women feel like, you know, men is supposed to do this and men is supposed to do that. I don't have this thing where I feel like a woman is beneath me or above me. Like, I don't have that thought, you know. So being that I'm a guy who, you know, like, I'm a parent and I do everything myself anyway. Well, majority of the stuff myself anyway. So if I was to, let's say, get married to someone, she not gonna have this thing where, oh, only the woman can cook and only the woman can do this and only the woman can do that, because I'm already used to doing certain things. See, so I think for me it'd just be a thing of equalness, like.
Oh, I like that.
But on the flip side, you know, the other side of me, yeah, the other side of me is me and polygamy.
Okay,
So polygamy.
That's the
about
other
that.
side of me.
Talk about that.
Yeah,
One
I
day you
think,
want to have more than one wife.
yeah, because I think that that's more I think that you get it's better with multiple than one. When, yeah,
And will
Better
that's
what?
just how
wait, hold on. Let me guide,
everything.
if I can guide this conversation.
I'm
So
sorry. That's why you here. You right. You right.
so
Marissa ready to go.
so
Yeah,
do
like,
this mean that the women will agree? They will know, everybody will be in an
only
understanding?
so the only way I would ever do it is if the woman was the person that asked for it. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't ask for that, because when you ask for it, that's saying to a woman that she's less than, or she's not, you know, enough. So you get in trouble trying to ask for it. However, there are women who have that desire themselves. Now, if she asks for it, then she can't get mad at me for accepting it. Like, but if I ask
I
for
see
it,
your strategy, but that's not how it works. The community of, you know, sorry, I can't even say the word, but that's not how polygamy works. It's
mhm,
like, it's like you say, it's two adults, you know, or more
mhm,
having this agreement. It's not necessary. It's not where if you ask for it, that woman should have a choice to say yes or no. If it's not for her, then she's not a part of that group.
mhm.
Is that who is for that, then yes, then you would have more success to have that type of relationship.
My thing with that is the thought of, right, the the thought of saying, asking and getting the mess slapped out
I've been
you for
asked.
asking,
I've been asked before. I've been asked
asking a
a
black
couple.
woman something like
No,
that.
I've been
Like,
asked a couple of times just to disclose. I've been asked a couple of times and had conversations
yeah,
around it. But knowing me and how I'm made up, that just can't be a part of my life. And I didn't get upset about it. It's just that it was very interesting because it came from
mhm,
his background.
Yeah. Gotta go sit down.
And so, and it was based in religion too, the type of religion that they were in as well. But
mhm.
but you know, if you're dealing with adults, that's the thing. If you're dealing with adults, you can have these kind of conversations. Now, if you do whatever, yeah, you make who feels like when you ask her that she's not enough. Well, then that's
Mhm.
some wounded work that she has to deal with, because every woman that comes to the table and having a relationship should already know that they are enough. Whatever happens within that relationship, the woman has to know that she is enough. If a man decides to sleep with somebody else, that's not her issue. That's something on the man. That's something he has to deal with, you know. So
Mhm.
when you're talking about being adults and in relationships, then we have to take responsibility in that way.
Mhm.
So it's okay to have those conversations. I'm glad you said that. Women should know how you truly feel, and you should be seeking totally what you desire. Okay, Marissa.
I agree with that part of what you said. Yeah.
Um,
I agree with that part.
I don't think, honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with polygamy as an idea. I mean, if you want to have, a family setup in which you have multiple wives, yay. I think, though, that in practice, we have seen more examples of how it can go bad than we've been exposed to how it goes good. But, you know, I don't know. I watch a lot of documentaries. They know I watch a lot of documentaries. And they have this town, it's like in Arizona somewhere, but not the not the FLDS, not the cult people, but basically they're on the other side of the border. And I guess this group splintered off from that group, that their leader went into is in prison right now. Yeah, not that group, the other group. But at any rate, they're Mormons and they practice polygamy, and it's their whole city, their whole little whatever it is, it's run by women ultimately. No, but the women run the relationships. So in order for a man to have multiple wives,
They have to agree.
the women have to choose him. He doesn't get to choose the women. The women go to the minister or to their parents or whomever, and they say, hey, I have my eye on my teacher over there, make it happen. And then they go to the teacher and his wives, and then they get them in, and there you go. And the other way that it works is that everybody works, and so they're not just in their own little city, but they go outside and they work. And if they want to leave and go off to university and come back, then that is encouraged as well, which is why I think they managed to be successful. And then they also had a limit on the amount of wives you can have that are, lack of a better word, fertile at once. So it's kind of like you got three that can have kids. Okay, you don't get any more. Now, once one ages out, then maybe you could add another one. But they put a cap on that, because I think the hard part comes when you start having all of these children and having to support all of these children, and then we're, emotionally and mentally, how does that affect everyone? But I will say, I saw one thing. I don't know if you guys have heard. It's a reality show called Sister Wives. Y'all heard about that? Okay, so peep this. The husband, his dad is married to one of his wives' mom, and I think the other wives' aunt or something like that. Yeah, they're all messed up. So dad has two wives, and they said something that I thought was really beautiful. They said when Big Daddy goes, there will only be one person in the world that will truly understand what I've lost, and I have her here with me. And we're support systems for each other. And I thought that was like a very nice sentiment. And, but they also are very rare. But hey, Master, get it where you fit in. If you can find somebody that is down with you having multiple wives and y'all can figure out where the kids go and how they do, Go for it. Just as long as you invite me over to cook. Somebody got to be able to cook. That's it. I just want to eat. That's all. That's it.
And what was you gonna say, Xavier?
Well, I don't judge nobody, so if that's what you want to do with your life.
I can't do it.
Exactly. Not for me, because no, it's not gonna work. I'm very no, but I'm possessive. I'm not jealous. I'm possessive. What's mine is mine. And if you try to touch what's mine, things might get a little ignorant.
Gotta be y'all's.
That's not for me. I'm gonna put, like,
You theirs. You
I've been
theirs.
by like a couple of times that wanted me to be a throuple with them. And I was like, nah, that's nasty. I can't do that. Nope.
What's a throuple?
It's 2 plus 1. It's a throuple. It's throuple.
Okay.
So they were married and they wanted me to be their girlfriend. And I was like,
See, okay, like no, okay, that's a lack in equality. If you're gonna have polygamy,
you guys gotta
you
be
have to
open.
have
People are
equality.
they're doing it.
that's how it starts. You got to be the girlfriend, the friend, the person they spend time with, and they gotta fill you out and see if they can take you to the next
You
level.
gotta see if you fit.
Yeah, and nope.
Yeah, no.
And they found that girlfriend. So
The collective bring enough personalities to the table. We don't need anybody else.
that is for you. So
For me, yes.
Right. When we start talking about everybody else's or somebody else's lifestyle, we can't be judgmental. I mean, that's
I'm not judgmental. I feel like, Master, just be honest with that person.
Positive.
Yeah.
With that person and everything will work out. But if hey, so your name is D Money today? Is that what it is? Is that where we're at? I think Dorian just joined us. I hope it's Dorian.
For real though?
And that's D Money. I'm like, I see.
Yeah, somebody D Money.
I see Brian Howard. I see Marissa Chorus. I see Master
Oh,
B.
let's hope so.
Anyway, moving right along while D Money get on.
Yeah,
because we should be wrapping it up pretty soon, right?
Sorry about that, y'all.
Yeah, huh? What?
I said sorry, but my thing still says D Money. I did that like 50 Zoom calls ago.
Okay, well, it's
okay. Well,
it's
sorry.
Anyway,
we were just talking about polygamy, Dorian.
About the what?
Polygamy.
About polygamy. Just wanted you to give your input.
Polygamy?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, I know some African cultures, ascribe to polygamy ideals and it creating a more, I guess, communal household of support for children, especially if you have, I guess, the mindset and mentality to live in that kind of space. But I think our Western culture, has largely steered many of our ideologies and ability to even conceive that kind of household in this kind of society. I don't personally think I could do it. I mean, I struggle enough just trying to hold down one relationship. So trying to cater to two sets of emotions, wants, needs, desires, I think would, again, if it takes a special kind of woman, I think, to even remotely.
Oh, I'm not her. I'm sorry. I have a question though. Master. I have a question for you. So if you were in a relationship, right, and you told your girl, I think we should try to be polygamous in a polygamous relationship, right? And she's like, all right, cool, let's do it. And so y'all had a girlfriend for about a year, whatever. And then she came, your original girlfriend came to you and was like, I think we should add another man to the mix. Would you be comfortable with that?
No, that's dead.
Yeah.
I can't with you.
Might as well kill that.
But isn't there another term for that? That would not be polygamy. What is?
I mean,
It's something I can't think. No, polyamory. Polyamory.
No, polyamory, that's still just more than, having more than one.
so
Yeah,
it's
so
the same thing,
polyamory
right?
could be two guys and a woman, or two women and a guy.
Right. I thought
But polygamy
polygamy
is
was just a
specifically-
husband and multiple wives.
Husband and multiple wives.
Right. Okay. So that would be polyamory that she described.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to know if she wanted it to
No.
go a different way.
That's not even another guy's never an option.
But
See,
you
and
know, it can be.
He's talking specifically.
We should
About
try
me.
so hard to keep
And
us
you
on
trying
track.
to make him do something else. He's talking. That's his perspective. That's
But
the other side of him.
I
But
think
anyway,
though
I want
polygamy
D-
is.
I want D to introduce himself because he came too late.
Oh yeah,
Give him a
Oh
chance.
yeah.
to
Can we get a
respond.
picture? Face something? Hi.
he's gone. I see.
And I
don't see
think
him.
I
I never
wanna
see
ask I want
anybody.
to ask a question after that.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Hi.
Well, just real quick. First and foremost, apologies for being so tardy. I had some family stuff to deal with that took a lot longer than anticipated. So my deepest apologies for that. My name is Dorian Archie. It is awesome to even be back on live with two of my favorite women, Marissa and Shay Brian, and my homeboy Master, because it's been a while. I've been through the ringer the last few months, so it's just good to be back. I'm an advocate, a sickle cell patient. I'm 32 years old, graduate of Howard University. And yeah, I guess that's about my rundown.
Thank you for being here. Okay, and your question, Master.
My question was that if I was to accept the man, like when somebody said, can we do this with a guy? What do you think that'd make?
What that would make you?
Right.
What would it make you?
A little bit on the other side, and I don't roll that way. So therefore, that could never happen.
Not
Therefore, that could
necessarily.
never
No.
happen. That could
No,
never
but
happen.
I think
No.
that's where when these type of relationships, that's where you boundaries. People who practice those things, they talk about how it played out. Maybe the men, will never touch each other.
Yeah.
Never.
I know there are
They don't
there's
share
one
bedrooms.
culture, I think in Eastern India or something like that, where the women do take multiple husbands, and that's just because of how the population is just so in favor of the men. So the women usually can take on 2 or 3 husbands, and
sometimes they could be brothers.
They have different huts. They have different, huts or different houses that they sleep in. The men, maybe there's some, communal building and stuff like that they do in terms of maybe child rearing and stuff like that. But in terms of intimacy, they have scheduled times where, this is your time, I am solely yours, and that's that. And the men, in terms of an intimacy standpoint, never interact with each other.
There's
Now,
no cross.
that's why I was saying from a Western standpoint, I don't think many guys especially, or women, could really get their heads around even doing something like that. But I think nowadays some women could definitely get their heads around that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely women that can.
In the Western culture, it's happening. You just don't hear about it as much, but people
Yeah.
are making certain arrangements and agreements, and it's working for them.
And Marissa just made a good point. Marissa just told me basically in so many words, she said that I need to move to Arizona.
You know what?
Anyways,
So,
Yeah.
Lori,
Next.
yeah.
before we got on the subject of polygamy, we were talking about what our ideal relationship would look like. So, would you mind explaining that? What would your perfect relationship look like and why?
Well, I come from a family, I guess, where generationally, on both sides, but both sets of my grandparents were together well into their 80s. My mother's parents are 88 right now, and getting ready to celebrate their 67th anniversary.
Awesome. Congratulations.
So my parents in next month will be celebrating their 36th or 37th anniversary. I'd have to double check. But I think for me, my ideal relationship is with a woman, who looks at family the same way that I look at family. She doesn't have to have the same dynamic where, both sets of her grandparents and her parents are still together and all that stuff. I know that is, that is,
Could be rare for us.
yeah,
Mhm.
that would just be kind of pigeonholing myself. But as long as she has the same values and I think approach to marriage and what it means to truly build a household and have a lifelong partnership, is the kind of relationship I would want to have with a woman. She doesn't have to be super religious or ascribe to any faith, so to speak. Ideally, I would like her to believe in God, in some type of higher power. But that it doesn't have to fall into any specific name or, faith or, specific thing like that. As long as we can coexist and have the same values in terms of how we want to raise our children, in terms of faith, and, just creating a strong support system for them, I think would be my ideal relationship in terms of like long term. Now, if we're just talking about like boyfriend, girlfriend, dating. Again, just at this point in my life, I think a woman who can at least see those things, wants those things, and can move into a relationship, after we're past the, courting phase, and say, these are the kind of things I want to build with somebody.
Awesome.
Hopefully I answered those questions. I don't know if you were looking for
Yeah.
exact specifics or.
So I'm Felicia. Dorian, nice meeting you. I'm just holding the space here. I'm a certified sex coach. And I just been, when you guys interject on your feelings, I then ask questions just to help unpack more. So with your description, I would like to ask you, how would you know you have gotten to that with that significant person that you just described to be your significant other? What do you think the steps would take or be involved to get there?
To like, I guess, actually putting a ring on her, or just the idea of
No,
the potential of it?
Yeah, the potential of to know that you have that in this woman, to know that you have that and you found that. What do you think it takes to get there?
Taking the time to get to know one another, get to know each other's, value system, what ideally what you want from the other person, expectations. I guess kind of once we've gotten those things out of the way and you have built that connection that, you know, okay, this is somebody I can really, you know, build with, life build with.
Yes.
Then I think, you know, you can start having the conversation about, okay, you know, because you've had those conversations, what do you want? You know, what are your expectations out of dating,
Yes.
out of courting each other? You know, are you still seeing other people? You know, are we going to still be seeing other people until we decide that, okay, this is where we want, let's start moving towards, you know, that next stage where, you know, we're past knowing what each other's, you know, expectations and wants and needs are, and are willing to solely offer that to that person and not anybody else.
So then
I
that's
think
when you would make that's how you would know and make your informed decision that this is the move I'm going to make with this person because these are the steps we've taken to get there.
absolutely, yes.
Okay, so the other question that Shavion asked was, what was a deal breaker? So what would be a deal breaker for you? Like, take, you know, just
Number one deal.
number one. What is your number one?
Like,
I guess an unwillingness to grow. Like if like we're, you know, if we get into that first disagreement or that first argument and or something like that, and you know, we bring everything to the table, and I can say, you know what, I messed up here, I messed up there, own my ish, and then try and grow from it. If, you know, when it's all brought to the table, if I hit a brick wall and there is just an unwillingness to have effective communication, to grow, to you know, have healthy dynamics in terms of communication and how we communicate, that's like my ultimate deal breaker. If you can't communicate effectively in a healthy manner, then there's nowhere for us to go, period.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where would you like to take us now, Shavion?
I like how I'm not the only one who came up with this here title. Anything you want to navigate in here, Marissa? No?
In terms of what?
What the discussion, what we'll talk about next, what you want to.
Oh, let's see, what have we covered? We covered religion. Master wants to move to Arizona. Be a polygamist. That's cool.
They do that in
That's
Arizona?
cool.
I thought it was
Yeah,
Utah.
Utah, Arizona,
Utah?
you know, they say they share a border. It's a thing.
Oh yeah.
I think, you know, with all of us, we can't deny our health plays a very large part in our lives, and it would play a very large part in the lives of anybody that would join us. So it's like, how do you integrate that into your relationship, and what responsibilities do you put on your partner? Truly, you know, like I know I had mine. Yeah, Shavion and Dorian, they was there for it. Dude came out of nowhere and was like, I want you. And I was like, yeah, before you go any further,
You gotta want this sickle cell thing too.
understand exactly. You understand what you comes with. And for like 3 months, you know, everybody's like, stop pushing him away. Why are you trying to scare him off? And I wasn't. You know, I had a very clear vision as to what life with sickle cell could be. And in my world, I have lived through the worst of it. You know, I had ultimately an entire decade of my life sort of pushed to the side because of sickle cell. And it is, I think, is sort of the worst. It's the worst that I've ever experienced for the longest amount of time. It was also the most expensive my health has ever gotten. And when it was all said and done, like, the one thing I came out of it with was, I will not get married. I will never get married legally. Like, hell no. Because I refuse to put somebody through that financial ringer. That's number one. You know, number two, I don't know that I would want to have somebody to have to sort of have their lives put on hold or affected as greatly as mine was during that time. So it's like I needed that person to be very, very clear as to all of the things that I've dealt with and all of the possibilities that I could think of thus far, you know. Like, I don't want anybody to ever look up at me and go, you tricked me, or I didn't know it was going to be like this, or I didn't understand. Like, nah, fuck that. Screw that. You understood, you know, you understood because I broke it down. I broke it down. It was now and forever broke. Okay. I broke it down to atoms. It can no longer be broken down. Like, no. So, you know, what do you, how do you see that? You know, do they have to be at the hospital with you from the beginning to end? You know, do they have to know every single medication you take? Do they have to be in contact with your medical teams and all of that? Like, how does that look for you? What does your support look like? Because I feel like if I call you and say, come to the hospital, you better drop everything and be at the hospital, because that means that I need you. Because if I don't understand and I don't have anything else down in this world, I understand and I have sickle cell down. Like, I don't need help. I really don't. So if I call and say, hey, pull up, you need to be in the car before I get off the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else want to speak to that?
Well, I think ideally that is definitely what we all want as sickle cell patients. That willingness to just, at the drop of a dime, just be there. I know, especially from the male standpoint, that is definitely not the reality that we live in. You know, as I think as women, when you're sick and you have a man there, a man naturally and instinctually just wants to take care of her. He wants to be there, wants to do that. So that willingness is like, oh man, my girl needs me. Boom, I need to go be a man. But when you are the man in the situation who may be sick and in need of somebody else, I think it can be a lot harder to even want to, even though deep down inside, yeah, I would love for my woman to just be like, yes, boom, oh yeah, I'm gonna be right there at the drop of a dime. And even though she may have that willingness, and historically I have dated women who have had that willingness, but my willingness to ask of that and expect that isn't there, because, I still want to be the man in the situation and don't want to have
But
to
how
feel.
does that prevent you from being the man, though? See, that's where I'm confused.
Wait, hold up. I'm going to help y'all navigate this. Go ahead and finish.
Oh, okay. So I would have her do this.
I'm going to help you navigate it.
It's not saying that it takes away from my manhood in any way to ask that, because again, like I said, deep down inside, that's what we all want. But just in how we've been socialized and all of these other things and what society tells you a man is supposed to be, from that standpoint and from that perspective, there may be a reluctance to say, I'm in need right now.
Yeah.
I'm weak right now. I'm hurting right now, and to have that expectation or willingness to just say, I need you here right now, drop everything you're doing and be here. I just think that, yeah, even though sometimes I may want to do that, I may not have that, initial just, like you may have, Marissa, to just be like, I need you here right now. Get your ass here. As a man, I just may not have that.
Well, wait though, but I say that in that for me is like how you helping him to understand the difference between I'm in the hospital. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's like these things happen. This is part of our life. I'm in the hospital. This is where I'm at. This is what's happening. And so far, everything is good. Like, you don't need to panic. My whole thing is I try to minimize the chaos and keep things as calm as possible, and I don't need that person trying to interpret what I need in that moment. So for you to say, if I call you in noon and say, hey, I'm in the hospital, like, don't start trying to wrap up work and putting clients on hold. No, it's okay. You will know when it's time to do all that, because I'm gonna call you and be like,
because you're gonna say it.
We got a problem. Exactly. Pull up. If I didn't say that, then there's no need. Did Adrian call you? Did you get a call from Dory? Did Shavion call you? Other people have to call you? They didn't? Okay, then it's okay. Like, this is part of our life now. We just go with it. Like, no need to panic. Just stay calm. It's good. It's okay.
If I may, on that note though, Dorian was a very good point, because he was talking about the binaries of this world when you're socialized to behave a certain way as a man versus a woman. And that's what he was trying to make clear in terms of being a man and having that type of voice to ask for that, because of his socialization might not give him that capability, even if he wants to. That's a choice that he could one day decide to say, hey, I'm gonna be vulnerable enough to allow myself to have that, because, his woman with love, there's nothing that that person won't do. From your perspective, Marissa, you're saying that if I say, you should know this is a part of our life. When I say I need you, I need you to pull up. That's a different perspective. He was not talking about in that context, and that's understandable. It's like you want somebody to pull up to know when it's an emergency. If I'm asking you to come, I need you, because I've been dealing with this a long time and I know how this works. So when it's no time, when it's not a time for you to panic, it's okay. But if I say I need you to come up. And that's very clear, and that's understandable. You made that very clear.
So may I? So here's the thing with that. I think that type of vulnerability, being vulnerable in that way, I think a lot of that comes with age, as well as socialization. And as a Black woman in America, we are very much socialized to be independent and be on our own, and you don't need anything from anybody. Right. You can give yourself whatever it is that you need. If your family and you can't give it to you, then you don't need it. Okay, because ain't nobody from the outside gonna do it. Right. And that very much translates to, your mental and your emotional health and your support system. All of that trickles down. And so in my mind, what he is talking about and what I'm talking about are pretty much the same thing. You are still saying to somebody, I will need you. And again, I did not hit this point in life until I hit about 37. So I just turned 43. So up until I was about 37, this was not a thing that I did with people. It was very much like sickle cell is over here, we are over here, and this is not going to interfere with this. It's kind of like I can take a break, put a pin in what's happening in my real life, go deal with sickle cell, and come back. And I hit 32 and realized that was wishful thinking. That no, at some point, it's all going to collide. At some point, all of it is going to mesh up. And so in order to prevent just as much pain as I possibly can on either side, it's like I have to be open, and I don't know if secure is the right word, but lack of a better word, secure within myself to say to somebody coming in, this is what it is. Either you can be on board or you can't. And if you can't, that's great, get the hell on. And like I said, I met 7 people within, I kid you not, 5 minutes of me saying that was like, deuces, you real cute girl, but deuces. And I was in shock. I was like, oh my God, people do that? And then that's when I had another revelation, which was that society socializes us to somehow think that we have to be kind and we have to be nice and we have to want to be there for children, old people, and sick people. And that's just not the case.
But then,
and it's okay to be selfish.
Okay, go ahead. Who's next?
That's
I
it.
just, for me, I don't really tell people. So I mean, some people say I be selfish and all that for it, but I don't tell you until you have to know. Like I dated somebody for like a year and a half, but just like now, if I have been in like admitted in like 2 years, so it's like, if I choose not to tell nobody, then I choose not to tell them, and then they'll find out when they find out. Like, and I'm not the person who requires anybody to be in the hospital with me. So that's another thing, that when you're used to being there a lot by yourself, it makes it easier for you not, like what Dorian was saying, for you not to call and say, come here, or, even if you do have a lady and she do know at that point, you're so used to being there by yourself that, you might, the most you might ask for is bring me something to eat. Like, like that's it. That's other than that, like, I'm cool. Everything is going to be like, I'm all right. I'm okay. Like, I'm good. Especially when you've been through it, like the crisis so many times. It's like everyday living to you. See, like, a crisis to us, is like a scrape to somebody else, like falling off a bike for a kid or something. Like, it's just natural. It's normal. It's like a cold. It's like a cold, like a person catching the cold. They don't take it that serious, like, until it's really, really, really serious. And so
till that cold turn into the flu.
Right. So it's like, for me, I didn't tell people a lot. I had one person tell me before, that I would have said something, like, we probably wouldn't have been together. Oh, thanks for telling me that. That just confirms for me not to tell the next person too. Like,
But then it's like, why
because
would you
No, I
want
feel like that's just not okay. Like, and you just shouldn't be with people like that. I mean, not telling you who you should be with, but like, that's somebody who
but you never
can't.
know they like that though.
But that's the
Yeah,
thing.
but
That's
but
why
that's
you
somebody who
tell
can't
her.
value all of you though. Like, that's somebody who isn't willing to value all of you. That's how I view that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, but see,
the
here's
reason,
the breakdown. If he doesn't communicate that or vet for that for himself, that he feel like he's enough to have that,
that's the part.
he get. So when it comes out down the line, then that person has to be real to themselves to just show you who they are. And there's no fault or no blame. It's just that it didn't get talked about before. He neglected giving that person a choice to decide if she wanted to be in that kind of relationship. It's like people have a choice to deal with somebody, whether you have high blood pressure, diabetes, whatever it is. Being there for somebody that has some sort of illness is more than a notion. Some people are not built
equipped. Yeah, some people are just not equipped for it.
They're just not.
For me, it was more so like, so mentally, what I used to, like, the way that I was thinking was like, I don't want you to not, let's say if you say you don't want to date me, I don't want you to not do it because of that. I just want you to know me for this person, like just who I am, not what I have.
Exactly.
And that was the biggest thing for me. I just wanted
But
just
you
date
got
me
to
for
say that up
who.
front. You got to.
Then I got to
be
tell them what I
that
have.
up front.
But
Exactly though, but that's all of
Yeah.
it.
But
And
like
it's about having
it
a
saves you,
thought
it
that-
saves you the
pretty
trouble and the heartache down
It's
the
okay.
road
Hold on.
if you find out that this person you really cared for really kind of can't care for you the same way. It's like, dang, you find out I got this. It's like, so what if I had come down with cancer? What if I just found out I had cancer?
They might be out the door. I'm telling you, it happens. It happens.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Let's
like
take a-
that
Yeah, I would've
person
dealt
is
with that when I got
truly
there.
kind of showing you who they are. But I know for me, I used to do the same thing, especially in high school and like towards the beginning of college. I just didn't tell people because one, same thing. I would only be hospitalized like maybe once a year, maybe every other year. I think the most I've gone was 3 years without a hospitalization.
Go sit down.
And you know, I sometimes felt like, okay, well, sickle cell doesn't define me. Sickle cell is not me. So, you know, I don't need to tell them until this comes up. But when it would come up,
No.
yeah, oftentimes, yeah, they would stick around, but it would create a bigger issue because it's like, well, you didn't trust me enough to tell me this from the jump, or all of it. So it ends up just creating like almost a big fault within the relationship that just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, like a crack that just keeps growing.
Some people feel like you don't trust them with that. Some people are natural and caregivers, and they feel like you do that to them. It's like, what are you saying about me? You thought I couldn't handle it? You know, so it's like, it's a very fine line. And I know we all who have sickle cell disease, you know, are finding ourselves. Like, we want to know who we are despite having sickle cell, number one. And we have to grow up and identify ourselves first. And so we learn as we grow, you know. And so one day you will get to the point to say, this is who I am, and totally accept all of you and be able to present yourself up front. And you wouldn't worry about how the chips fall because you don't take it personal. This is where I'm talking about having the compassion to understand people have a that because somebody don't accept me because I have sickle cell, meaning that they can't care for me, like give me that love and attention, like be there for me, because I understand it is a lot, you know, and I want somebody in that someone that is compatible to you, and then let me have my freedom to find the person that's compatible to me.
Absolutely.
And mine was not my, even with like sympathy, like I don't want nobody's sympathy. Don't give me like, cause some people, you know, like I used to get, you know, sometimes you even especially teachers like treat you different. I never liked that. So it's like, why? You know what I'm saying?
I don't.
When you tell
but see,
people
that's the
certain
difference.
stuff, like I don't like that.
I don't want your pity. I don't want your sympathy. But
like,
what I do,
empathy.
what I do at least strive for, or want you to strive for, is understanding and basic empathy. If you can have basic empathy and the willingness to try and understand, then that's all I ask for. But I sure as hell don't want your sympathy, and I sure as hell don't want your pity.
And here's the trick to that. Here's the trick to that. When people feel good about themselves, then you won't see the kindness and the consideration, because that's could very well what it is. But because when you don't feel good about yourself, you may be perceiving it as somebody taking pity on you. And we have to be very careful of that and honest with ourselves when we don't feel good about ourselves and having this disease. So when someone could very well, and you can insult them by saying, oh, you pitying me? And they can tell you to your face, no, I really genuinely care. But because you don't feel good, you won't see it. So let's make sure that we're clear that we are the one that don't have that perspective, have those blinders on. And for some reason, we can't let love in naturally.
That's so true. That is so very true. Yeah, because I definitely went through a patch where I was just mad at everybody and was just thinking everybody was just, I don't need your pity. Like, and people be saying, "Oh, I'm here for you." No, you're not here for me. I
Right.
understand. No, you don't understand.
Right.
Just a bitter bear.
It was just like no matter how much they tried,
Yeah, you
like
wasn't
they
gonna
just could
say it.
they could not say the right thing. I was
Exactly.
going to twist and manipulate what they were trying, the goodness that they were trying to show me, the
Exactly.
love that they were trying to show me. I was going to twist it and manipulate it some kind of way
Yes.
to be like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
You don't get it. You don't understand me. You're not here.
You're right.
You know, some kind of
See,
way
we
to
have to be
devalue what they were
careful.
trying to do.
We have to love ourselves. We are beautiful and wonderfully, and we have to know that we are worthy of love. We are worthy. This thing does not define us. We were born with it, but that's not who we are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right. So with that, I think we've been on here for a while.
I didn't get to share mine.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Exactly. Right.
Go ahead, my sister.
All right, so I kind of feel like, in a way, I agree with Marissa on the point of, for the most part, I have this. I am not new to this, and I definitely have been used to going through this by myself, especially after my last relationship. However, and it is a big however, I feel that the person that I am romantically involved with should, if they do not know about sickle cell, they should educate themselves. They should use me as a tool because I do know a lot, and they should do their own research. And I feel like they should be able to, if I need them for whatever reason, at whatever time, be there and know how to be that strength when I'm weak, because
Is that a deal breaker?
I get tired of being the strong person all the time. Sometimes my body breaks down, I break down. Of course, I have things in place for my daughter, so it's not like I worry about her, but it's just that worry as a parent, right? So it makes me feel very, very weak sometimes. Sickle cell can beat up on me. So there's times where I'm going to need somebody who, that person that's supposed to be that person to me, can lift me up and show me, not show me compassion and strength on their own, and also remind me of my own strength.
Oh man, phew, preach.
I need that person that knows me well enough, and I've had this conversation with you, Felicia. When I have to be with someone who accepts me 100%, all of me, every part, every crazy, quirky, funny, silly, sickle cell,
Crazy.
all of it, right? So when they accept that, they know that, and knowing, dang, she's at a weak point right now, but this is not her. So I have to show her who she truly is, because right now she's forgotten, right? And I need that person that can be that reminder.
Who can be strong enough to see through, who can see through the pain, who can see through the drugs, who can see through all of the emotional and physical, and mental turmoil that this disease can take on you. Somebody who can see through all of that and see the real you and lift that person up.
Yes, that part.
That does not come out of the sky. You have to do the work. You have to do the work. You have to communicate. You have to be upfront. You got to be willing to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to lead that person. You must use your words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't expect it, of course. I can't expect anybody in my life.
Yeah, you can't expect them to be
know
psychic or
what
anything
I
like
want
that.
from any aspect of relationships when it comes to that. I could only
It's hard work, you guys. I'm telling you, it's like, what I mean is to really have these conversations, because I'm with couples all the time, talking to them. You don't realize how much voice until you in a situation. You don't realize how much you are not saying what you need or want to say until you are in a situation. And I cannot stress enough, please, learn your love language, learn how to express it, and then learn the other person's love language to know how to also cater to them. It's a reciprocity, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
I think I could leave you guys with that.
Have you all read that book?
Yes.
Love language?
5 Languages of Love. Yeah.
I have not.
Yeah.
I'll send it. I'll send it to you, bro. I probably have it like in the PDF.
Yeah.
I might even have it. I might even have it in the audio. But I read it a
Even
few
better.
times.
Even better.
All right.
Lord.
I love you all.
My niece made fried Oreos.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, good. She snuck them in here to
Hey
me.
Dory, hey Dory, it's another book. It's another book called The Love Deer, bro. That one good too.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to see if I have it.
Okay.
I'm reading one called Relationship Goals right now. It's pretty good. It's by Pastor Michael Todd. So it goes through the depth of ways you can maintain all different types of relationships, not just romantic. So I think that's helpful because it gets kind of weird sometimes with people.
All right, my love, I'm gonna leave it up to you to take us on out of here.
All right, so I just want to say, is there anyone else who have anything to say? Anything? No, nobody.
I just want to say it's good to see all you guys again. And thank you guys for having me. I'm really sorry again for being so tardy, but thank you so much again for having me. And it's really great to see all you guys again.
It was
You
nice
too,
to
bro.
meet you. It's
Thank
nice
you
to
for
meet
It was
being here.
absolutely, thank you so much, Felicia, for being here. It was absolutely amazing meeting you. Thank you for your insights.
Thank you.
You're absolutely amazing. I can't wait to have another conversation with you.
Love y'all.
I'm just trying to see how could I be a coach too.
Just go,
Coach Master.
For real.
Go to Sex Coach University online.
Yeah, how do you become a sex
There's
coach?
a whole
That's
universe.
what I'm
Like,
talking about.
really?
Yeah. And that's how I got
Oh,
certified. Yeah.
I'm looking that up tonight.
okay.
Master, it's not what you think it is.
Why?
I'm also currently ABD, so working on my doctorate. So I'll be
All right.
soon.
All right,
Hey, good job.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Hey.
All right, so thank you
All right,
all
Black people.
for joining. Thank you for sharing your insight and your wisdom and your feelings about
Awesome.
navigating this thing called life and relationships. I appreciate you all. Yeah, so for those of you who are going to check this video out later on, or those of you who are watching right now, don't forget to follow us on Facebook at The Sickle Cell Experience, Instagram, The Sickle Cell Experience. You can go to our website at scdexperience.org. And
IG.
didn't I say Instagram? Did I not?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think you're
Instagram
right.
is The Sickle Cell Experience as well, in case I didn't. So I will leave you with my positive words, and if my lovely co-hosts have their own, we'll share that before we end. Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can.
Leave people in places better than you found them, and you will find that you will be a better person too.
Be empowered, stay encouraged, and know that your breakdowns can soon become breakthroughs.
All right.
Love people. Simple.
Love people. All right.
Love,
All
Hey.
right.
love is the key.
To get sick and tired of being sick and tired, do something different.
Ooh.
Amen. Amen.
Well,
All right then. You
Wow,
all
wow.
can- and check us out next time. We'll probably be back next week for YouTube. Thank you again for watching.